Nobody gives it to you. So our school system is completely ass backwards. Interests you. That's how you develop discipline. So if you're studying things, if you're entering a career that doesn't suit you, that you don't really love, that isn't really your dream, then it's going to be very hard for you to master yourself. It's going to be very hard to gain that discipline. You're going to be tuning out. You're going to be distracted. You're going to be on your phone too much. You're not going to be focusing deeply, which is how you master yourself. To me, the key to life, the key to everything, the key to success is figuring out what you love. You got to first figure out, I call it your life's task, what you were born to create in this world. Everybody is born as an individual. There's something very unique about you. And I mean every single person out there. I don't just mean people who have special talents. Everybody has this power within them. Everybody is unique in some way in their DNA, in how they were raised, in their early encounters in life. And the trick in life is bringing out your uniqueness, bringing out what makes you weird, what makes you strange, what makes you different, and leaning into it and creating a business, writing a book, going into some field that reflects that uniqueness. If you discover what that is when you're in your early 20s, more or less, then you're going to learn at a much faster rate than if parents tell you to go to law school and you go to law school, but it doesn't really connect with you and you're tuning it out and you're not really learning. But if you find something that you love, you're going to learn at a very fast rate. And as you learn, as you develop skills, as things improve in your brain, you're going to be gaining discipline. You're going to be mastering yourself. Because I believe that you master yourself in what you actually make and what you create. I only became who I am through writing my books. It's writing my books that changed me. It has made me a different person. Your work is going to make you a different person if it's something that you love, if it's something that excites you. So the key to everything in life is making that choice early on in your early 20s about what you were sometimes afraid to be different.
Especially in school, you're not encouraged to be different.
No.
If you stand out, you get teased.
I mean, people like maybe dress differently and stuff. But truly being unique in your work, in your ideas, in your thinking, in what you love is something that a lot of people are afraid. All unique. There's nobody else like them. I mean, back in my day, I was a big David Bowie fan. There's nobody like David Bowie, right? These are people that understood their uniqueness. They weren't afraid of the market. And I can just choose all these different goodies and candies and things, but I can't figure out what's the one thing that I really made to create in this world. And the problem is, because goes back to mastering yourself first, is you're impatient. People today, everybody who's young, I was like this when I was young, you're impatient. You want things right now. You want an answer. You want Robert Greene to tell you, this is what you were meant to do. This is how you find your life's task, A, B, C. I give you these clues and you're just going to find it like on an Easter egg hunt or something. Doesn't work like that. You have to be patient in this world. Figuring out who I am, figuring out what I love, figuring out what I was meant to do. It's going to take months. It could take years. You have to be patient. You have to be open and willing. It's an adventure. It's a journey that you're on. So I say, all right, let's just first start on that thing that I'm not going to give you an answer right away. You have to be patient. And then it's a matter of going into yourself and being introspective, which is an incredibly important skill to have in life, to be able to withdraw from the group, withdraw from your phone, withdraw from your friends, be alone, listen to yourself and write things down in a journal and go, these are my thoughts. These are what I like. This is what I love. This is what I hate. When I was 5 years old, I really, really loved this activity, this endeavor. And then I kind of lost track of that and I forgot about it. You're going to be going deeply, deeply, deeply into yourself, not listening to what all your friends are saying, not listening to what people on Instagram are saying, just yourself that speaks to you about what you love. But you're hearing all these other voices from other people. Get rid of all those voices and listen to yourself. And when you go through that, something will happen. A click will happen. You'll go, I actually am really attracted to science. I was forced to go in this other direction, but a logical brain, this is what I was meant to do. Could be anything. I don't know what it is. And I tell people, often when you were very young, when you were 8 or 7, you actually knew it, but you lost it. And so it's a process. It's like a dig. We're digging in the ground and we're going back into your childhood and we're figuring out what it is that makes you unique and what you were meant to accomplish in life.
I think to follow your point, like a lot of people aren't asking themselves what their factory setting is. And they're not saying to themselves, what is it I enjoy doing? And then maybe get really good at that. To your point, mastery, right?
Yeah. I mean, the problem is nobody teaches this. Nobody gives it to you. When you go to school, when you're young, They force you to do algebra, math, sciences, English. Doesn't suit you. You get turned off by learning, right?
Yep.
And then that haunts you the rest of your life.
Yep.
But I can tell you, learning is actually the most exciting thing in the world. It's almost as exciting as sex. I know you don't believe that, but it is.
Wow, big statement. That's a big statement. But I love business so much. I know exactly learning how to do business. I love it so much. I know that learning feeling is like nothing like it. But why aren't people tapping into this?
I think because in school, it's just like a buffet. You just have to learn all these different things. You're not focusing on that one thing that really excites you. And school isn't geared towards finding those things,
but
right?
Why is it like that? Like if you get a D in something, they make you do it more.
Because people are stupid, because people are illogical, because our education system is a bureaucracy. It's an organization. It's the madness of groups. When groups build something, it's inevitably irrational and stupid. So our school system is completely ass backwards. If you're never encouraged to go in the direction that excites you, then for the rest of your life, you're going to be haunted by this feeling of, oh, learning is boring. Learning is tedious. I'd rather do a video game. I'd rather watch online porn. That's much more fun. Let me tell you a story here. My parents wanted me to be very successful. They were very ambitious, right? And they were kind of pushing me to go to law school, to medical school. And I was a literature person, right? I was just into books and learning and reading and novels, and I wanted to be a writer. And I wandered through life, my 20s. As I've told in many interviews, I had 50 different jobs. By the time I'm in my mid-30s, you could definitely say that Robert Greene was kind of a loser. I never made money, really good money. I went from job to job to job to job. I wasn't a complete failure, but I had not figured anything out. My parents were really getting worried about me because they didn't force me to do these things. And then I discovered what I love. I found writing these kinds of books that I wrote. I was never interested in money. I was interested in doing what I loved. And now I've made more money than my father ever made in his entire life. I made more money than I ever would have made if I had gone to law school or med school because I pursued what genuinely excited and fascinated me.
Delayed gratification you're partly talking about there, aren't you? So you just followed the dream and then eventually all the wealth comes, whatever wealth is these days anyway. So what do we need to know about human nature?
People are tricky. People are not easy. Learning a math problem or coding, that's kind of easy and simple and linear. People are not linear. People are weird. They're difficult. They never say what they really think about you. Robert, I love your book. It's wonderful, but really they're thinking, God, what a sellout. I don't really know. You never know what they're thinking. You never know what they're up to. It's tricky. It's deceptive. And it can drive you crazy. And if you enter the world 22, 23, they never teach you these things. And you enter the work world, and it's all political and people have their egos and they're all trying to get this or that, or you can take it personally and get very upset and you can get emotional and it can ruin your life. So I want you to think of understanding people as a skill as necessary as learning business, as learning coding, as learning algorithms, learning anything in life. And the only way you're going to learn about people is by interacting with them. If you're too virtual, if you're doing everything on your phone, you're not interacting with people, you're not going out and meeting them, you're not being social, that skill will atrophy. That it's like a muscle you have to develop. Mm-hmm. And so you have to get to this point where I want to understand people. I want to read them. I want to be able to know what's going on and not be so lost. So the first thing is to realize, to get down on your hands and knees and go, I don't understand people. They're mystery to me. They cause me problems. Now you can take the next step. And the next step is you have to observe people. And the problem that most of us face is, quite honestly, we're more interested in ourselves than we are in other people. I make the point in my book, Human Nature, Laws of Human Nature, that we are all self-centered. We are all narcissists to some extent. We want to hear about ourselves. We love it when we talk about us. Other people, we don't think they're as interesting as us, but actually, other people are much more interesting than you are. Your thoughts are going round and round in circles, the same boring ideas. People are weird. They're strange. They have different experiences than you. They come from different cultures. Feel like you want to get inside people. You want to understand their stories. You're interested in them. And then use your imagination. And then be very attentive to people's nonverbal cues. But the most important thing about understanding human nature is that appearances don't matter. People create the appearance that they want you to see. So don't take the appearance people present to you at face value. Look behind the mask.
I think it's such an underrated point that people don't understand how, like, I ask people in the street what their dream is. The answers blow my mind. Like, I just find it so fascinating as well what's going on behind the eyes, there's so much more, and people do judge not by how people look, but the jobs that they're doing. So we asked this guy who was in the bin, like what his dream is, and he had this most amazing dream. He was in the bin taking something out of the bin to eat.
He's like homeless.
We couldn't tell what he was actually doing, but he was in the bin, and you would normally walk past this person maybe with a little bit of fear, and then we actually asked him what his dream was, and his dream was incredible. Back to your point, I think we do judge a book by its cover, but a lot of people will be listening to this thinking, well, okay, so again, back to themselves. Right, I can go ask people, what they're about, and I can copy Simon, what's your dream? But how do I know, how does that help me? How do you think that helps people?
Well, geez, I mean, as I said, you're a social animal. So at some point, however old you are, you're going to get a job, and you're going to be dealing with 5, 6, 20, 100, 200 strangers, right? And if you don't understand them, if you're not interested in them, if you don't know what's really going on in their mind, you're going to be doing stupid things. You're going to be making mistakes. You don't realize that everyone has an ego, and that you're going to be stepping on their toes and making them upset. Your life is going to be miserable if you don't take the time to try and understand people on a deeper level. And once you do try and understand them, once you understand that people present a front that's not reality, then you kick into another gear and you go, I'm going to try and figure them out. Now, you can't always figure people out. They're complex. I don't really know what's going on in your mind right now. I can't read it, but I can sense your mood. I can sense how you feel. I don't know your thoughts, but I can sense if you're kind of hostile, if you're open and interested. So you want to develop this interest in other people. You want to see it as a skill, and you want to observe them. And in my book, Laws of Human Nature, I explain 18 kind of facets, traits that humans have had for thousands of years. And I kind of take you through it step by step, just to give you one example. So I don't want to take up all the time here. I have a chapter on envy. Envy is an incredibly important thing to understand. Everybody feels it. I feel it. Even Elon Musk feels it. The most powerful people in the world feel it. It's so ingrained in human nature. And what it is we're constantly comparing ourselves to other people. That's how our brains work. Our brains work by comparing things. So if I'm on social media and I see people are traveling to Tahiti, they've got these wonderful families, they're married to this beautiful woman, I'm feeling envy, damn it. Even I'll feel envy, right? I feel it. Ryan Holiday, yeah. My former mentee, he's far more successful than I am. I can feel envy for Ryan. We're all prone to it. And I want to show you where it comes from, how you feel it, how you can overcome that feeling and turn it into something productive. So understanding human nature is also about understanding and identifying toxic people before you let them into your life and they ruin you. One of the things I talk in the book about how to use your envy is, if there are people who have things that you wish you had but don't have, then use that as a spur, as something to stimulate you to get what they have, to become successful.
I think positive envy, a bit like ego, and it can be powerful if it's a positive thing.
Yeah. One aspect of envy is this thing called Schadenfreude, which means we feel joy when other people have a bad experience, right? It's an ugly emotion, but a lot of people have it. I'm sure I've had it in my life. I'm sure you've had it.
I can't think I have, actually. I'm being genuine. I can't think of a moment where I've enjoyed someone else's misery. Well, I say that. I used to have an agency.
Yeah, okay.
I just remember.
Here we go.
And we beat a big company that said they were going to squash us, and we beat them. So but it was more like a competition type fight.
Okay. Well, the other side of that, the opposite of Schadenfreude would be, I'm using German words, so excuse me, please, but Mitfreude, which means having pleasure with other people. So when other people have success, feel joy about them. Yeah. Force yourself to feel good about them. Force yourself to say, that's great. I'm so happy for you. You won't realize how wonderful that feeling is because it's not natural. It's not natural if your friends suddenly sell something great. Your first instinct is, well, why not me? Yeah. Instead, drop yourself and just go, I'm really, truly happy for that other person. It's a very wonderful emotion. There's two kinds of confidence. There's the confidence that's just pure bullshit, where you're just kind of presenting a confident front. And then there's the confidence that's a quiet confidence that's based on the fact that you know what you're talking about, that you have skill, that you've had success in life. And so you don't need to brag. You don't need to kind of create the show, the performance of confidence. I can very quickly tell the difference when I meet people. What's who has the real one, who has the fake one. But the main thing you want is, if you want to have confidence in life, it has to be built on something real. If, let's say, in the realm of seduction, which is one of my books, The Art of Seduction, being confident when you meet a man or a woman is very important, right? That sense of confidence carries over. They feel it, and it's very seductive. It's a very powerful quality. It's like charisma. If it's just